Men innan, ja, vi ser bara att den ska börja komma igång här, men det ska den göra. Och sen går jag upp och börjar prata. Ja, det funkade faktiskt. Så nu är vi så att säga live på YouTube. Hörrni, varmt välkomna allihopa hit till dagens panel. And I'm of course going to switch to English since I just remembered that this panel is in English. A warm welcome to the Freelance Hub here at Finans. And this is the first time that but at least I know that it's working on YouTube now, right? So that's perfect. So, a warm welcome to Finans and the Freelance Hub, which is a meeting place for freelancers where everyone is welcome to just sit down, host events, work for the day, or whatever they may wish to do. As I was saying, we also host a lot of events, and today we're really excited to be hosting a talk and a panel about the labor market of today and how that is changing and the importance of language on the Swedish labor market. And with that being said, I'd like to welcome Caroline Lindén up on stage. Thank you. Thank you. And don't forget to turn on your mic as well.
So I'm Caroline Lindén, and I'll be your moderator today. Today's topic is the job market united and divided by language. And prior to this, we actually had questions that's been sent in advance that through this we will answer. And if you guys have any questions that you want to ask the panel, you guys are welcome to do that after. We will have like a Q&A. And with that said, I want to welcome the panelists. We have Emilia up on stage here. Welcome her. Do a little applaud. Thanks. And then we have Raisa. And last but not least, we have Anna. And they're also going to introduce themselves. Okay, we sit down here. It's just a small gang. I don't know if you guys want to have some, take the chairs here, come up a little bit further. I think it's good if you guys can sit there.
The three of us here.
Yeah. Oh.
Do we fit in?
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, perfect. Well, we will start by introducing ourselves. I can introduce myself a little bit more. I think a lot of you guys already know me, but I've been a freelancer off and on for 14 years. And I've also been employed at Karolinska at a stroke registry. So I've done a lot of things. And I've been a teacher as well. So this is how a teacher looks sometimes, like this. And before we start, I also wanted to say why this is close to my heart. I was born and raised in Sweden. I have an African Gambian father, and I also have a French-Swedish mother. So there was a lot of languages growing up, and unfortunately, I don't speak any language other than Swedish fluently. My English is pretty good, but I don't speak French or Olof, which is from my dad's side, fluently. So this is very close to my heart. And now I want to introduce Emilia. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and why are you here? Why this is important for you?
Yeah, well, my name is Emilia. I am from Spain. I have been living in Sweden for more than 10 years. I work with business events, try to make them more inclusive and more human-centered. And I have built my career in Sweden in English, which is my second language, while learning my Swedish, that is my third language, and that's still a work in progress. And this is very important for me because I have lived this experience firsthand, and I know how important it is to be able to communicate because language is not just about communication, it's also building your own confidence and finding your place in a new society, new country, new place where you are going to live and work. So that's why it's very important for me. And obviously events as well is a hub for communication and where people meet and talk.
Thank you. And then we have Raisa. Who are you and what do you do and why is this important for you?
So my name is Raisa Haikala. I'm founder of Snakka, and Snakka is a speaking practice and progress tracking app for immigrants to practice real life speaking situations and also to track their daily interactions. Why am I here? I think this topic has defined my whole career and as well my private life. because I have been working over 20 years in Finland with adult immigrants in integration, and as well I have been an immigrant myself in 4 different countries and 3 different languages. So that's why I'm here today.
Thank you. And then we have Anna. Same to you. Who are you and why it's important?
My name is Anna Forsberg. I'm one of the co-founders of MyFlow. This is a business tool and all-in-one platform for solopreneurs and freelancers, available right now in 5 languages and more to come. And I'm also chair of Nyföretagarcentrum Stockholm, which is an organization that helps and give advice to people wanting to start their own company. And we give free, independent and quality assured advice to anyone who wants to start a company. So this is important to me because while I meet every day people entering the freelance or solopreneur sector or starting a company because there is obstacles because of the language. So this is a way to enter the labor market and to network and to actually prove what you can do to start as a consultant or interim or freelance. So and this is both sad and also an opportunity solutions. And I think digital solutions and AI helps overcome this obstacles. So I meet this every day.
Thank you. Yeah. We will start with our first topic. And our first topic is language as a barrier or an opportunity. And I will direct this question to you, Raisa. How does language impact career opportunities in today's market? Okay. That's a tough one, right?
That is a tough one,
yeah.
And I think I want to start, if you guys are ready, on Tuesday morning, to go rather philosophic here first. So if we think about the language is the way that we connect with each other. And organizations are people coming together for a common purpose, for a specific goal that they want to achieve together. So it's clear that common language is something that we need. But now that language can be used both as a tool to include and exclude. Because if we choose one language, we are always choosing as well someone out with that language. So how is it defining today's job market? I think we can't talk about today's job market without mentioning technology, right? Because just within past few years, suddenly we all appear fluent. When this very polished communication becomes the new norm, I think, or my prediction is, maybe a hope as well, that in the future the importance of face-to-face and communication on site where we have no technology in between us, it will become more and more important because we can't anymore stand out if it's all in the digital world.
Yeah, that's true. And just another question. So you were born in Finland, right?
Yes.
And in Finland, do they speak Swedish? Is that a second language for you guys? Even I don't know that, maybe I should.
Yeah, okay.
But can you tell me a little bit about how it was growing up in Finland? Did you speak Swedish or did you come to Sweden and learn Swedish? How important was that growing up?
So Finland has 2 official languages. We have a minority that their mother tongue is Swedish language. So that means that it's compulsory for us to learn Swedish in school. Where I was raised and born, we had barely no Swedish-speaking people at all. So it was like a foreign language that we learned. I didn't see the importance as well. When we came to Stockholm, I was talking English always. So I came here with my school svenska. I understood, but I was not able to communicate, even in the most simple situations like ordering coffee.
So you had to learn.
Yeah, I had to learn to speak. Yeah.
And Emilia, as workplaces become more international, is language becoming less important or is it still a major barrier? What do you think?
I think it's both, actually. I think it's in international companies, usually they speak English and it's kind of a common language. I have worked in companies with people from many different nationalities and many different backgrounds. However, the local languages is still extremely important. If you want to stay in the country, if you want to build a network, if you want just to live in a place, like for example, my Swedish is far from perfect, but
it's really good.
No, but it's important. I think it's important that I can go to the supermarket and communicate when I need to buy something, or it's important if I go to the doctor and I need to book an appointment, even if later I ask the doctor to speak with me in English, because I obviously don't know all the medical terms, right? But I think it's very important. So it can be, language can be a bridge, but also can be a fence. It can be both.
Yeah.
So as workplaces become more international, I think it's good to have both. So I wouldn't exclude any.
And thank you. And just when you came to Sweden, you started working for an international company, right?
Yeah.
And you were speaking English.
Yeah.
Everyone, even Swedish people, were speaking. How was that?
Yes.
Was it okay? Everyone understood? Was it inclusive? Give me a little reflection.
Yeah, basically all the workplaces where I've been in Sweden were English first, even if they were Swedish organizations. And as I said, full of people from different backgrounds. Everybody had a different level of English, but everybody was able to communicate with the rest. Obviously, for me at the beginning, coming from Spain, it was like, okay, I need to get used to work and think and live in my second language, and then I need to put even more effort to try to learn the local language in order to fit in this country, right? So yeah, it's it is actually, if everybody is speaking in their second language, it's more inclusive because everybody is equally in disadvantage.
Yeah, that's true. They're on the same level.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. And Anna, where should employers draw the line between business need and language requirements?
Yeah, the key is, of course, what does this particular professional really requires language. Go to the business need. What particular level of Swedish do you actually need for this position? And if the position is not something that is regulated with that you definitely need to be fluent in Swedish, then it's so much easier to switch between your first language or second language and do your job and do your profession and learn the more social talk in Swedish after a while. And I think that coming back to when you started to work within an international community in Sweden, the solopreneurs or startup sector is more it's a really good environment to be in. That you switch between your first language or your second language in English, and together we developed the Swedish skills. Even 10 years ago I was at a solopreneur community, and we always speak English, and for everyone it was the second language. And sometimes after a while you've been meeting for an hour and then recognize, oh, we all speak Swedish, well, let's switch to Swedish. But that's if you really focus on the need on this particular role, the business need, then it's easy to make a decision.
Yeah. And Emilia, can you build a career in Sweden without learning Swedish? Just have English. Like, can you build a successful career with that?
It really depends on what you want to do in your career. There are jobs where Swedish is 100% necessary.
What type of jobs, like, would that be?
Public sector, for example. If you're working on perhaps education for children, or perhaps if you're working on healthcare. I can think of, like, those are some simple examples. There are many more where Swedish is absolutely necessary. But however, there are other type of jobs where maybe Swedish is good to have because it's an international organization that by default is already working in English. So yeah, it's I think it's important to not forget that you still need to live in a country So don't forget that you still need to communicate with the people and in their own language. But it is possible to build a career in a foreign language, in English. For example, in my case, I have been able to go from one company to another, but my niche of work is very limited as well when I want to apply for roles, because I only apply for roles at companies that are really big and international. So I'm limited to certain roles, yes, I know, but however, there are other roles that are there for other people with other skills.
Yeah.
So.
But also one thing that you're saying there is that you have to look at the skills. And I think now with today's job market, when it comes to language, is that we are focusing so much on the language, so we're forgetting the skills. I think the skills are a bit harder to learn. It is, I mean, I'm a fluent speaker of Swedish, but I know it's a hard language, you know, depending on, you know, when you're starting, where you're from, you know, how much influences you have. But you can learn some Swedish, but the skills and the experience that you have should actually come first, I think.
Yes.
So now we have a question from our audience, and this is to Raisa. When employers list good skills in Swedish or fluency in both English and Swedish, how serious are they, and what skill level in Swedish do they typically expect?
Well, I think it has come up also here what Anna and Emilia has been saying, that it depends on the role and it like the job you are going to do, and it also depends on the organization. And of course, like Anna mentioned here as well, the focus on that would be my advice as well, because with common technology, it is possible to focus on the job that you do and become fluent in that specific area, because the HR and the hiring managers, they usually don't have that kind of skills where they could see that what is your overall language level. They usually are not also very aware if there's a certain level that what does this mean actually, but what they can do in that situation, or what they try to do, is to evaluate how do you manage that job in that particular language. And of course I would love to see that Sweden would have also that kind of like profession-based criteria that Estonia has, for example. But one more tip that I want to give, that which I mentioned in the beginning, that the organization depends on that as well. Sometimes if in the job it is said that fluency in Swedish is required, it might be good to do a little bit of background check of the company as well. Is it there to exclude? Like, are you fighting against the windmills? If the company doesn't look very diverse at all, most likely, is it worth to apply then?
Yeah, yes, true. We did talk about this, but we're switching topic here. It's about inclusion, hiring, and fairness, and about language. And I will direct this to you, Emilia. Are companies missing good candidates because of language requirements? We did speak a little bit about this, but what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think absolutely some companies, a lot of companies are missing out on really good candidates just because of language. And the problem here is not just that companies are requiring language. The problem is that they are confusing the fluency of language with the knowledge of the culture, which is different.
Yeah.
Your Swedish might be broken, might be not perfect, but if you understand the importance of fika in the Swedish culture,
very important with fika.
Exactly. So if you understand the importance of that, if you understand the importance of the role of networking in Swedish society, if you understand the importance of, like, for example, the bigger celebrations during the year, like why is Sweden stopping in July? Why is so important Midsummer? Why do we celebrate Lucia? You understand the culture, but maybe you don't understand you're not able to speak or communicate fluently. And also, there's another thing, there's another side to it, that fluency is very linked to feeling confident Sometimes you might have the best ideas, but if you are not able to deliver them because you are not fluent enough, it feels like you're missing out on many things as well. But yeah, I would say like both. Language is important, but also the knowledge of the culture. So companies shouldn't forget about this.
Yeah.
That it's not all about being perfect in grammar.
Yeah, very true. We do also have a question from the audience, and I will direct this to you, Anna. Swedish used to be a nice to have in many job ads, but is now often a strict requirement. That's what we've been talking about here. Why has this changed, and how can skilled international professionals enter the job market while they are still learning Swedish?
Good and big question.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you something that I just remembered this morning. A friend of mine applying for a job, and that it was actually a language test. Within the professional, how is your language skills? And he was set up, and Swedish is his third language. He's really good in Swedish. He's really professional. And the language test, like a live test, and he was so sad afterwards. Anna, they set me up with a skåning, which is so hard to understand when you speak Swedish in that accent. So just remember this morning. But this is a really interesting and big question. I think we are two parallel things happen at the same time. The Swedish labor market and the Swedish businesses are getting more international. Multi-languages would be really, really beneficial for everyone. And at the same time, we have as you said, it's increasing that there's a must-have to have a fluent Swedish. And this is two parallel things happen at the same time. Of course, there's a way to enter and to find a way squeezing into the labor market, and I think, as I mentioned, the solopreneur and freelancing and networking is a way to open the doors. But I really have to mention the sad part of this is because of politics. When we have a discussion within the society how to exclude and to testing and to go back to where you're from, and people like, well, that's Hedemora, where should I go? So the politics have an effect on the labor market. The high rate of unemployed is overwhelming employers, and it's sort of easy to have a yes or no question in Swedish, just a filter. And what you do is you filter away the skills and the competence that you actually need. And thirdly, also it is an uncertainty within what's happening in the world and the global economy. There's a war in Europe. That also tends to go back to where it feels like safe. And the solution is always to come back to what skills do we actually need, and what are we missing out if we have this filter that exclude before we even know what competence we can find with this person.
Yeah. So it's very true. I actually had an interesting conversation with a man a couple of days ago regarding languages. He's from France, and we tried to speak a little bit, and my French is not that good. But then he said something about, regarding this, that you're not French because you speak French. It's something that you are inside, And I think that is something that regarding to know the culture. I know people who know Swedish but don't know the culture. Even I don't know everything about the culture, even though I'm Swedish. So it's just a different thing. You can still understand the culture, people. Why do we have fika? Why do we have this? Why do we celebrate this? But you cannot maybe speak the language, or you speak a little bit, not fluent, but you can still be a part of the society.
Yeah.
And now we're moving on to our next topic, and we've talked a little bit about this, but it's about building a career while still learning the language. And Emilia, what are the biggest challenges when you are learning Swedish to build a career? You talked a little bit about this, but as as a freelancer, if you have your own company and not just employed, like how do you actually do that? Because you also have your own company. So how is that without learning, like don't know Swedish and?
Yeah, it's a process that requires a lot of commitment. When I moved to Sweden, as I said, I was getting used to work and understand everything in my second language. And obviously I was really committed, and I still am, to learn as much as possible of Swedish and to be fluent. However, I remember especially the first 2-3 years, they were really hard, in the sense like when you move to another country, it's hard. It's a lot of work, and getting used to learn, like from booking an appointment to the doctor to pay your taxes. It's a whole new life that you need to build while you are working, while you're trying not to get fired, while like you're trying to give it all when you're working, right? Or like finding a place to live, like the housing situation in Stockholm a few years ago. I don't think it's better now, but all of that were challenge after challenge. And I remember putting an effort and at some points thinking, okay, I just need to get the workload done, and then I will find mental space for studying. At some point, what I did when I was feeling more settled was I tried SFE and didn't work for me because I was traveling a lot for work. So I was missing a lot of classes, and it was pointless. So what I did was booking a one-to-one lessons that was adapted to my work schedule. That it was focused in practicing speaking, not so much in practicing reading or any other things or writing. It was speaking. So it requires a lot of commitment, and also requires for you to understand it's going to be slow, especially when you're a grown-up. You're not a kid. As a child, it's easier to learn a language, and is quicker. But as an adult, you just need to be patient, keep going, be gentle with yourself, because you need to give yourself like that, pat in the back, saying it's okay, it wasn't perfect, or you're still learning, it's okay. And to have the goal that one day you'll get there. You will speak the language. And it's the same if you're building your own company or you're going freelancer. It doesn't matter. It's the same process. And just try to practice in the small moments. That helps.
Yeah, thank you. And Raisa, what advice would you give someone who is trying to build a career who's not fluent in Swedish? Because like you said, it's a process. You have to have time for it. You have to practice, but you're also doing all of these other steps. And then you also want a social life. You want to meet people, So how do you fit all of that? And what can you do when you're here, you don't know Swedish fluent, and maybe you don't have extreme of time to do everything? Like, what advice would you give someone?
I think first of all, I think you are doing it right when you do it parallel, because like Emilia mentioned as well, we are adults. We can't put our life on hold to learn first the language, and then we are back in our professional skills, or someone is looking, okay, you have been only studying language this time. So doing it parallel if possible. We have everything else, like you mentioned. There's challenges, there's family, there's this and that, so many things. I think it's about finding the priorities as well. How important this is to me in my life, in this country, for my work in this country. We find time for the things that we prioritize high. And I'd like to also challenge it a bit. I know how hard the schedules can be. I have lived that as well. But if I say I don't have time for something, it means that I don't prioritize it very high at this moment of my life.
Yeah. And just from the employer side, I was thinking, Anna, what can employers do? So now we talked about what I can do when I'm here and I'm starting a career or trying it out. But what can employers do? Is there anything employers can do to help someone, to support them when they are hiring someone who doesn't speak Swedish?
Yes, it's a lot of things they can do. Of course, and it comes down to leadership, to show the way, and to make the workplace safe for trying, for making mistakes, and for helping each other moving on. So leadership is the key, and you can also decide that you have an opportunity to have a Swedish teacher at the workplace, or a mentor, ways to practice and to learn, and to accept that we sometimes just switch language, help each other, and the leadership shows the way to the group. And this could be also, so there's super many things that we can do, and that's also something that can really strengthen the group as a whole. Because if the boss of a company shows that it's accepted to learn, you don't have to know everything from the beginning, you can learn. Then you show the whole team that that's acceptable in other areas as well. So this is beneficial for the whole team.
Yeah. And one little reflection, I have a lot of friends who don't speak fluent Swedish but are trying it out. And this happened to a friend of mine. She said that I'm trying to speak Swedish and I think I'm pretty good, but every time I speak to someone, they always speak English.
Yeah.
And I've also been a victim of that. I've also done that. And I think we also, as Swedish people who are fluent in Swedish, we also have to understand if someone wants to learn and they are trying it out, that we don't switch, because we also do that sometimes.
True. Slow down, go with it, and help each other move. Yes. Good.
Exactly. Yeah. We do have a question from the audience, and I will direct this to you, Emilia. So I have difficulty processing sounds, which makes learning languages harder. I really enjoy learning Swedish, but what can I do to make it easier?
Well, I would say that, first of all, don't stress out about the hard part. Focus on the part that comes well for you, like the part that is easy for you. So for example, if processing sounds is not that easy, if you are going to watch a movie in Swedish, put subtitles in whatever the language, it's easier for you. For example, what I do is I watch everything in Swedish with English subtitles. And I try to process what I'm listening and trying to understand what I'm reading. And connecting what I'm reading with the sounds. Other ways is like visual as well, like try visual stuff, like color code, or like if you assign a color to something, maybe that will help you gather the sound or pick the sound and learn that way. It's just trying different things, easy things that will make your life easier. Don't stress out about I need to push myself more to understand what I'm listening. And also try to listen to different accents. I've noticed that as a Spanish person, when people are studying Spanish and they come to Spain, they find so many different accents in the country. If you just focus yourself in learning like the neutral accent, then it's going to be difficult to understand people in real life.
And there's another thing. I'm doing the Duolingo for my French. I don't know if that's the best one. Have you tried it? Have someone tried Duolingo? Because I'm thinking you have. And you have. What is your take on Duolingo?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work for me either, actually. So
that's why we have Snacka.
that's why we have Snacka. Thanks.
No, but for me, Duolingo is really helpful in the sense of I take it as a game. And it's helping me to memorize words connected to a certain sound, and the sound is kind of neutral. And it's a really, it's a game where you are learning words.
Yeah.
So that's the way I'm using it. And I know it's not gonna make me fluent, but it's entertaining me.
Yeah, it's fun. I know when, I don't know what step I'm at Duolingo, but it's basically learning me how to order things in French, which I already kind of know, but it's not helping me to actually, do anything else than that.
I think the word you're looking for is that it's a bit lacking in the grammar.
Yes.
And so I've been using it to learn German again, and actually decided I have to go to a university course instead because, I mean, as you say, you can build up, you know, the words and kind of phrases. So it still has a use, but not for the grammar.
But I would add that it also doesn't teach you anything about real life.
No.
So my friend who has been in, who studied Swedish in Finland and came to Stockholm and had been studying with Duolingo, came here and said that he just learned the word turtle in Swedish. And that's great, because now you can go all over. It's the most common word that we have here in Stockholm. We always talk about the turtles that are wandering around the streets.
Yeah, I don't know what Duolingo has with turtles, but in the Swedish course, it's all over the place. It's like the most common word, turtle.
We did have a question. We can have.
It's not a question, actually. It's tips.
Yeah.
You can listen Swedish music. It's very good, and it's easier to learn things when you listen to music because it's very good.
Yeah, very good.
Yes.
Nice.
And actually, if you, for example, look at music, Swedish music on YouTube, you can have videos with the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same as watching a movie with subtitles. You learn the lyrics, and I used that when I was a kid to learn English, actually, many years ago. And I still use it for Swedish as well.
Yeah, it's very good because your mind is remain like that. The music and the sounds and everything.
Yes.
So what we're saying, just to end, this is kind of like there are tools that you can use, but you have to use the right tools.
Yeah. The tools that work for you.
Yes.
The tools that works for you. We do have another question from the audience, and I will direct this to you, Raisa. What jobs can a highly educated person get in Sweden if they don't fit in one specific field?
I think when talking to this audience and ourselves as well, I think the best option would be, of course, if that's possible, to build your career yourself. If you don't fit into the box, then build your box yourself. To make it happen, like as a freelancer, start your own company or whatever. Of course, this is a perfect world in a way that we need to know that, okay, who is going to pay my bills next month if I start this now? And in that, I would say when you are trying to kick in the first door to get inside, I would say roughly in a way that very few of us fit in a box. But when we apply for a job, they have some kind of specific person in mind. And often when we go to a job interview, and actually I have this experience, my very first job interview fully in Swedish, that I was prepared super well, but I prepared myself to talk about that position, what they had been doing before and so on. And all the questions were very general about the weaknesses and strengths. And I totally froze in that situation. And at some point, this hiring manager looked at me and said, you know, I don't understand who you are and why you are applying for this job. And I think there, even how like excruciating that moment was in there, I understood that there is the truth. I told too much. I was in a way too much. I didn't fit into their box. So if I go back and do it again, I would think, okay, which side of myself I will reveal in this? It doesn't take away everything else I am, but what is needed for this, what they are looking for, and trying to fit there. If you don't fit, maybe then it's not the organization for you.
Yeah. And then you could also freelance, you can start your own company. Like you said, if you don't fit in the box, make the box yourself. You can kind of see, you know. And this question that we got submitted doesn't really have anything to do with language, but let me go back to languages. So let's say I don't fit in the box and then I also don't know Swedish and it's a requirement. Should I still apply? Like, should we still apply for these jobs where Swedish is a requirement? Do you think that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? If you want to, but again, I would say that think if you want to be the person fighting against the windmills, or do you want, we need pioneers to do that,
Yeah.
for sure.
And sometimes to send a message that, well, I see you require Swedish for this role. I'm not fluent in Swedish, but you're making a mistake. This and I that's a way to show.
And I would say you have nothing to lose. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
you already have a no. So all that happens is that you get a yes.
Yes, yes.
So true. Nothing,
Very true.
Not applying is a 100% no.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you apply, maybe you have a chance to get
Yeah.
a yes. So why not?
We have a question, yeah.
Is it open for question yet? Or shall we
Not really, but
No,
but please ask your question. This is a conversation also with you guys, so I want to interact. So, yeah.
So, I want to share something to that and then ask you a question, because I am a coach and I work with like international PhD students and also with spouses who come people who come as a partner. Their partner has a job, but they don't, so they come to Sweden. So I work with Stockholm Dual Career Network and STCN and the PhD Academy, and I just counted, and I have worked with 85 people so far in groups, and it's basically their topic. So we talk about interview training. We like, what's the best CV? How do I portray my career when I come to Sweden? Like, how honest am I about the Swedish language? You know, like what do I do when? So we do all those things with them. And all of these 85, they struggle so hard, and most of them are highly skilled, like really highly skilled, like smartest people in the room. Sometimes, like what they tell me, what they work with, I'm like, okay, I'm a coach, you know. So it's definitely impressive. But they have, on various degrees, almost no success in getting even an interview, even if they, as you said, you know, like 5 windmills, or if they very often even don't get a reply, and even some of them speak even fluently, but then they are called Heiner Müller, like I'm German. So,
What is that? Can you translate? What does that
like
mean?
The most generic guy name.
Aha, okay.
First and surname, Heiner Müller.
Okay.
So it's just like maybe like a Johansson.
Anders Andersson or Svensson or something like that, yes.
So my question for you is, because like everything you say resonates with me when I think about my students, like what can we do more to help them? So I was thinking about you, Raisa, maybe I can bring you in to show them a little bit of Snacka.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you know,
Would be
like
happy
maybe
to.
like-
I'm a spouse myself as well. That's why we've been moving around. Yeah.
Perfect. So maybe we can, maybe we can bring them in for a minute or two so you can explain that to them. So, yeah, my question is like, how can we like give them more hope or something, because they try, they really want to make a life here, and we give them many tools, and still very often it doesn't work. I'm sorry to put you down, maybe.
Yeah, no.
But you're perfectly right, and this is so sad. And this is a highly political question. What kind of country do we want to live in, and what is, and since we're now in the middle of the political campaign to the elections, and all of the signs is Sverige, and what kind of country do we want to have? And we don't have any discussions to the elections about unemployment and how to enter the job market, these kind of questions to open doors. We are only discussing closing doors, and it's a really political questions, and politics comes from the people. So and any way we can, and that's why I'm here today. And like what anything that we can do that really question this that we see happening all the time. Closed doors. It's so sad.
Yeah, I will add, answering the question as well, that if the job market is closing you all doors, and that happens to a lot of international people in the workforce, you keep applying because you have to. But at the same time, Raisa said, if the job is not there for you, build your own. Yeah, the same with network, because it is really important to put yourself out. So if all the opportunities you're saying no, they are not the right ones for you to network and know people, build your own. Make the most of every single opportunity, and join every single opportunity that you can to network in English if you are fluent in English, because there are plenty.
I would actually like to add here the responsibility from the organizations. Anna mentioned earlier the leadership here as well. And I would use here Northvolt as an example. I'm a Northvolt spouse. So Northvolt, when it was at its peak, going strong, they had 120 nationalities. And they chose English to be their common language so that they could scale fast and hire internationally. And I recently just read the book of Peter Carson, the founder of Northvolt, and he devoted like 2 pages for this topic about the language as well there. And he mentioned that when they chose the as a requirement for recruitment fluency in English, they made few exceptions and they always regretted it. But the story does not end there, because we also know that what happened in Skellefteå just in the beginning of this year, there was a peer-reviewed research article published about when Northvolt collapsed. What happened when this international workforce in Skellefteå, which is far north, came to the local job market, where the biggest employer was public sector, and they couldn't speak the language there. And also, when I mentioned that when you choose one language, you exclude. So choosing English actually also excluded people who have chosen to focus on Swedish, because I'm coming to Sweden, I want to focus on Swedish language. Or as well the people who never had the possibility or capability to learn fluent English.
Right.
So we can choose a language, a common language, we need that, but the inclusion comes actually what we build around it, how we support people to be able to communicate efficiently with that language. Anna mentioned already many examples here what we can do. Also like visuals, translations, body systems, hire managers who are multilingual, and so on. So I think there's more solutions than we have only one problem in the end.
We have one more question, and then we have 2 more topics. So I'm just going to let you...
I don't know if you've already addressed this, but I think there's a much bigger issue here, because there currently is a very anti-immigrant sentiment around the world. And I think even people who were born and raised here but have non-European descent have a difficult time finding a job. So they're perfectly qualified, they're not picked because there is a fear of culture or something like that. So I think sometimes there's this false myth that, you know, if you're eager to please or if you work hard, then it will lead you somewhere. But no, the system is kind of rigged like that.
That is true. And also something to add to that. I mean, I am born and raised in Sweden. I speak fluent Swedish, but I don't look the part. I don't like when you know, companies, not so much now, but before they would say, you know, we want to have inclusion, so we want to hire people with different nationalities and cultures, and then they hire me. And I'm like, well, I look the part of an immigrant because I am not a white person with blonde hair, but I have nothing to give you. Like I have no other culture, no other language, so it doesn't fit. And I actually have a couple of friends who are adopted, and they've also been a victim of that they look the part of an immigrant, but they're not adding anything. There's nothing to add, you just kind of look the part of it. So I don't know if that's an answer to your question, but as a person of color and still of Swedish descent, like it's kind of like you're in between, because I do want to add variation or something to a workplace, but I can only do that by my color, but I cannot do that with my culture, really.
But there are studies that show that people that hire people, they just systematically pick out the ones that have immigrant names, especially non-European names. And when they're asked about it, they say, well, we're kind of scared about when there's fika time, if there will be issues culturally or something like that, even though they're perfectly qualified. So you have to kind of beat that type of thinking. I think that is very strong here.
Yeah, we see, of course, there is a growing racism in the society, and it's terrible. It's actually getting worse, and we have to stop it. And as you said, you could be like born in Västerås and be excluded because you look like a Muslim. Like, well, I'm from Västerås.
Yes,
by the way.
You don't even have to look very
Exactly.
different. I'm born and raised in Sweden, but I've lived overseas for 18 years. And I go to job interviews in Sweden, and people say things like "go home," and the role requires you fluent in Swedish. So it really, the discrimination and exclusion goes a lot further.
Quite recently, I was when a friend of mine applied for a job, or former colleague applied for a job, and I was like the referral person for her. And the company called me and just to ask question. Then it came this question: but how is her Swedish? Well, I see you have looked at her CV. You must have made an interview with her. She has had this and this and this jobs. She's even written a book. She's born in Sweden, what do you ask me? And the company was like, but that's happening.
And that's why it's so important to vote, to be like express yourself, and also to build another kind of reality besides. I think that's super important. So if we agree on that, let's start building companies and businesses that don't do that, don't exclude people because of their color or whatever background.
Yeah, that's true. And I think this is because we only have 2 more topics, and this that we're talking about is a little bit about the topic, the future of work. So I will go back to that. So the future of work, Raisa, what do you think will happen to the language requirements in Sweden over the next 10 years? Like, if you could look into the future, 10 years from now, you know, with Swedish being almost in every job ad, it's a requirement. Do you think it's going to continue, or are we going to have a shift?
I think, like mentioned already before, I think why that is, it's the political environment that we are living at the moment, why there is a strict requirement for Swedish at the moment. Will it continue like that? I would say that even the politics follow the money. So where the money goes, and how do we need to build, if it seems that okay, we can't build a society only with Swedish, we need other languages as well. So then it will go on that direction.
Yeah, that is true. And I want to add something, because you talked about voting, but not everyone can vote. And I think something that we talked a little bit about, but not so much, is networking. So I think networking is a way of, especially when you actually cannot vote, how do you impact? You can go on social media, you can post, you can talk to people, you can network.
And you can vote usually in the local,
in the
election.
local,
That's really important.
Not maybe in Riksdags election, but this is my first time I can vote in Sweden. I will definitely use that vote.
I have voted in the local elections since I moved to Sweden, every single one, because I think it's really important.
It is, yeah. But you can also impact, you know, telling your story in different ways. And I think networking is a good opportunity. That's how I get my job, for example. That's what I do. I network, I meet people, I talk. And most of the things that I do is in English. You know, people get to know me, they like me, hopefully, what I do. And it's an opportunity for you guys as well. We have 2 more questions submitted by the audience. And Anna, this is directed to you. Where do you see the job market is heading to, as a lot of jobs are managed by AI? There is more of ghost kind of job ads. So now we're talking about AI a little bit as well.
Yeah, for sure. AI definitely changes the job market, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be fewer jobs. Or AI is a great tool to overcome obstacles and to make it easier to write and to understand, and as a tool. And also with AI, you can be a freelancer or a solopreneur that actually runs a bigger company by yourself. You can have a really increase of revenue and with AI, and as a tool to solve language problems or make it easier to work together. I see that for myself. I have huge help with AI because I work in a team with English speaking, and I don't have the words to talk to our developers because I don't know the technical words for it. So I use AI to understand my workplace. So AI is a really opportunity, I see.
Yeah. And we're running out of time, so I just want to ask all of you three one question before we end. And the question is, if you could give one piece of advice to both employers and job seekers to create a more inclusive job market, what would it be? I will start with you, just very short.
Oh, that's a difficult one. Just one piece of advice is to have a bit of patience with people, because it might be the case that people are trying, but being fluent in a language doesn't come overnight. So be patient with yourself, but also employers, be patient with people that are trying. Focus on their skills, because that's what they bring to the job, not the level of fluency or like, you know, the qualification in a language exam. So what can they actually bring to your organization? That's what they need to focus on.
Yeah, thank you. And same to you, very short.
I'm thinking that probably for the employers, be more specific on your requirements, what you actually need. Go in and dig in, for example, the language requirements, what is needed for this exact job. And then for the job seekers, because everything is very abstract and in general level the same thing, we need to be more focused, more specialized in the current market.
Yeah, thank you. And Anna, last.
Yeah, for employers, look for potential, not perfection, when you find your future colleagues, and have a leadership that really signals that we are here to learn, we can develop, we can grow together. And for job seekers, and I would definitely, as mentioned, also networking, freelancing, find the ways to build your box, find a mentor, or connect as much as you can by your own, actually.
Yeah, and that was it. I mean, we have some time for questions if you guys want to ask anything for the panel, but we're going to end the workshop or the seminar for today. And I think this is so good that you guys also interacted, asked your questions, and we're going to be here for a little time after this. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I'll just go and sit down and say thank you so much for being here, and thank you for such an insightful discussion. And I also really believe that in this time and age, and just realizing that the labor market is changing. I mean, it's challenging, I guess, for everyone, because we have over 500,000 unemployed people in Sweden now. But of course, the challenges look different for people from different backgrounds, with different language knowledge and so on. So it's been a pleasure listening to all of you, and I'm really happy that you're going to stick around so that the people in the room can continue asking their questions. And also that we caught this on camera, and I forgot to say this was our first live stream from the Freelance Lab. That's why I was a bit
Good job.
So thank you all of you for being here. And I mean, Raisa, you're going to come back in just 2 weeks' time. What are you going to do?
So we will have at this stage the first ever Snacka stage, and the concept is about face-to-face. It is also about daring to speak in the local language. So I'm still looking for some pitchers who are dare to come up on the stage and pitch themselves or their company in Swedish.
Yes.
So do reach out to Raisa. And thank you again for being here. Thank you all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.